no need to mince around spoilers now because Tim has basically explained the whole premise of the film for us. So
He sure has.
he's done half my job for me. Thank you, Tim. But I think the structure of the film and Tim's performance are the best things about it, to be honest. I can absolutely see who this film is for. It's not really for me. I think the last time I was on the show, I think I revealed myself as being dead inside, which is quite accurate. And this is a film that is borderline cheesy, like grated cheese. And I can see what they're going for. And I think kind of his performance, especially after we find out everything that is unfolded through flashbacks, the structure is quite curious. I wish the flashbacks were better, especially with the younger actors. I think it's quite a challenge if you're playing a younger version of Timothy Spall. You kind of have to be or try to be at that level, and that's not something that a lot of actors can achieve. and I think that suffered a little bit. We don't get to see as much of the younger versions of the characters or understand their life together as much as I wanted to, because as everything unfolds, it's so poignant because I want to know more about Tom. I want to know more about his marriage. I want to know more about this tragedy, and we don't really get it. He's incredibly closed off. So that was sort of frustrating towards the end of the film, as much as I wanted it to feel cathartic that he achieves his goal and he does the thing that he wanted to do. I'm kind of still just basing myself on the performance, on this very closed off kind of man, almost full of regrets, who just is striving to get to that finish line to almost let go. So it's very tense in a way. And I think if we just stuck around on that, and perhaps if the flashbacks were kind of better, if they were better acted, and we got to know the marriage that he's mourning a bit more, it would have been a much stronger film. I think it works for that element of it's a respite from cynicism. I think it definitely stands out because of that. I think it's also, just a much simpler film than it's trying to be. I think the essence of it is Tom and his regrets and this one final mission that he needs to do. The way that all the information about his loss with his wife and his own diagnosis, which I think the misdirect at the beginning of the film is very clever. But at the same time, there's additional things. The additional thing with him becoming a social media sensation isn't really fully explored and doesn't quite add anything to the film, if I'm honest. It's kind of a tacked on element to it. I would have absolutely done without it. Just if you have a simple, straightforward, emotionally coiled up story, stick with that. That's all you want. You've got Tim Spall. You don't really need much else. And so much of the film is spent in close-ups on his face. And like we were talking with him in the interview, he's playing someone much older than him. So there's a lot, and he visibly grows wearier and more determined as the film goes on. So there's a lot of emotions going on through his face as the film continues, and that's the best thing about it. Everything else, I thought the direction, to be honest, is kind of meh. I think is the kindest way I can describe it. It's kind of neither here nor there, but it doesn't really need to be flashy. It doesn't really need to stand out because it's all about him.
I mean,
it's all about him and his performance.
It is the Tim Spall show, clearly, and it's. I mean, just as an actor, it's an absolute masterclass from him in frailty and sort of charting, increased frailty over sort of 80 minutes in just micro progressions, and it's almost a kind of silent film performance because there's so little dialogue, and it's not really about what he says. It's about the 20 agonizing yards he has to walk from here to the bus stop, and certainly as an acting piece, it's a reminder of just what a mighty talent Tim is and always has been.
Absolutely.
But that's The Last Bus. Out on general release, and it may well be just the tonic you need after being kind of cooped up for the last 18 months. It's certainly It's certainly an extremely warm mug of cocoa with something to say about mortality. What a terrible link and roundup. A warm mug of cocoa with just a hint of mortality. For God's sake, Rufus. I don't think Cadbury's print that on the front of their hot chocolate mugs, but, there you go.
Just a dash of cheese as well.
Yeah.
Let's mix our metaphors. Let's do a hot cup of cocoa with some feta in it. With a sprinkling of cheddar.